There are so many synthesizers available, but how do you know which one's right for you? In this video, I'm going to be showing you what you should be looking out for so you know which one is going to work in your music. First question you need to ask yourself is, what kind of sounds do you want to make? To decide this, I recommend looking at all the tools you have and figure out what type of sounds you struggle to make the most. It could be basses, leads, chord synths, ambient pads. And the reason why this is important is because now the synth you get is going to plug the gaps of your current setup so you can express your ideas more freely and create new stuff. If you're only going to use it for bass sounds, leads or arps, get a monophonic or paraphonic synth. However, if you need to play chords, get a polyphonic synth because that's going to allow you to play multiple notes at the same time. And these are also good general all-rounders if you're looking for something that can cover a lot of ground. Now let's take this a step further because every synth has a unique tone. If you play guitar, you might collect different types of guitars for different purposes, and it's a similar thing with synthesizers. As producers, we often collect different types of synths so we can explore different tones. So let's say one of your favorite artists was Tame Impala, and you want to make key sounds that kind of sounded similar. I would use the same synths that they use or an emulation, because it's going to get you a lot closer to that type of sound. If you're not sure what synths your favorite artists use, the 3 places I'd recommend are Equipboard. Type in your favorite artist's name and it's going to come up with a bunch of their equipment, including the synthesizers. Second place would be Reddit. Sometimes people post about what sounds your favorite artists are using. And the third place would be on YouTube. You can see what they're using in their live setups, or you can listen to synth demos and there might be one synth that really resonates with you. Subscribe to learn more about sound design. Should I get a plug-in synth or should I get a hardware synth? This is going to be down to personal preference. I have a combination of plugins and hardware. If you travel a lot, then I'd recommend sticking with software because as long as you bring your laptop, you can have all of the plugins you need ready to go. Secondly, software is a lot cheaper than hardware. If you get something like Pigments, Omnisphere, or UVI Falcon, you'll see that for that same price, you're getting a lot more different synthesis types under the one synth. So if you're on a budget, need something portable, and want a really good all-rounder, software is the way to go. The biggest benefit of hardware is hands-on control. The workflow invites you to experiment, and it kind of feels like a toy where anything's possible and you can just try things out. And another benefit of hardware, let's say you didn't like it anymore and you want to upgrade to a better synth, you can resell it and use that as a discount to get your next synth. Now we're going to get into what are some examples of synths to get. We will make different music, so choose whatever one you feel like fits you the best. If you want a general all-rounder synth that can make a range of different sounds and is fun to use, the Minilog XD, the Deepman 6 or 12, the Waldorf Iridium, and the Novation Peak or Summit. And here's some plugin recommendations that'll be a bit cheaper. Yuhi Diva, this is a very versatile synth for creating analog type sounds. And that's mixed in with the nice streamlined workflow of a synth that's been well designed. Omnisphere, we all know that it's got one of the most in-depth preset selections. However, it's actually really powerful for making your own sounds from scratch. UVI Falcon 2, there are tons of ways to make new sounds, sequences, effects, just create what you want to create. But it does have a steep learning curve, so if you're new to sound design, get Pigments instead, as it has a much more easy to understand interface. And the second type of synth you can get is an emulation. As we said earlier in this video, every synth has its individual tone. So if you're trying to emulate a certain artist, here's a quick guide to the best emulations. Check out the Arturia Review collection. Most of the synths that you can be looking for are going to be in here. Another option is Roland Cloud. I've yet to try this one out, but I've heard a lot of great reviews about it. Hardware, let's start with some of the budget options. You can get the Roland Boutique series. They have so many great synths. I like the Juno and some of the new ones that's coming out. Second option is Behringer. They're doing a pretty good job at modeling some of these old synths. The only thing I'd say is make sure you check it out in person because as they're using cheaper parts, you might not like the build quality. And if you've got a slightly higher budget, then I'd recommend any synth by Sequential, Moog, or Black Corporation. If you're looking for FM type sounds, the classic is the DX7, which you can actually get pretty cheap on eBay. There's a plugin version in the Arturia collection, or check out the Korg Op 6. They've taken the DX7 and added a bunch more features and made it so much more streamlined and easy to use. This comes as a plugin and it comes as a hardware. So you make a preset on the keyboard and you can use that in the computer. You make a preset on the computer, you can use it on the keyboard. So you get the best of both worlds. Narrow that list down to 2 to 3 options and test it out. Sometimes synthesizers sound amazing on YouTube demos, but when you use it for yourself, you get a completely different experience. So I definitely recommend trying it out to make sure you're making the right decision. If you want to learn more about synthesizers, check out this playlist.